I'm going to call the meeting to order. So we're going to do a little pledge and then a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You know, I love the emails that go around. There's an email going around the military end of the world. Talks about the flag. How you make $8 million and you can take a needle. And it shows about 50 pictures of guys and gals that can't take a needle. Because they don't have any knees. Don't have any arms. It's amazing how we have changed as a nation, but I guess that's what we're entitled to do as each generation comes along. Okay, first roll call. Mr. Smith called in, Commissioner Smith, said he wouldn't be here today, so it'll be Bob and I. And the first on the agenda is public comments. Anybody from the public have a comment? Other than you, Joe.
Joe Herring, 16630 Gilman Road. Just want to ask the commissioners to reconsider going back to 2 meetings a week. And if not doing that, these meetings have become long, and we sit back here to the back and towards the end of the meeting to wait for our agenda items to come up. Or at least schedule session 2 with won't start before 10 o'clock, kind of a concept with the option for public comment at the beginning of session 2 also. Just would like
the second one to start at 10 o'clock?
You know, an idea, just a concept, so that if you have stuff on the second agenda for the day, the second session, you don't have to be here from 9 to 10 and go over the check registry and all the items. What some good points are made during that. There's a lot of expenses out there that need to be noted.
Staff, Mark, did you copy that?
I did write down Mr. Herring's comments.
Very good.
However, after March 20th, I believe, we will no longer have 2 meetings. That's the waiting period that we had for so we'll only have 1 meeting anyways.
So it'll be 1 meeting and then you just...
But there might be some, we'll let staff take care of it and deal with it, and they'll ask us, and we'll come up with a decision. We'll let you know, Joseph.
I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Glenberry, District 1. Just a comment about the stopping with the driveway maintenance program we had before. I got a call from a man in Arkansas last night. Used to be a Tonganoxie resident. His mom still lives there, so he's still concerned about that. But he works for the county down there where he's living at in Arkansas, and they have had a similar type program as what we did before with driveway maintenance. Other than their county actually went a little step further than what we were doing. We just come in there with a grader or whatever and tuned up their driveway, put it back in decent shape for them. Their people actually, if you didn't have enough gravel on your driveway, the county ran a rock quarry down there, owned 2 of them on either end of the county. They would go get truckloads of gravel, bring into your driveway, and assess you for the material alone. They didn't charge you for hauling it to you. That was just part of what they thought was the right thing to do for taxpayers. And he said that he maintained 50-some miles of road, and if he was on the wrong end of that and you needed it touched up, they got on it within a few weeks. And I said, well, for us, that's a little far-fetched. We had to wait for whenever the graders were out in our area, and they'd stop in and touch you up while they were in your area. They didn't just come do it and spur of the moment thing. But he didn't think it was a good idea that we got rid of that. He said, I don't know how many people used it. And I said, well, I don't know that either. That was a county shop type deal. You have to go through somebody else and find that out. I didn't know the answer to it. And that up that there are other counties in the country that do that. It's not, we weren't the only county in the state probably doing it. Other counties, I'm sure, participate in that type of a program. But I thought it was interesting when he said they actually brought the material there, and if you don't have enough and we showed up today, we just leave. We'll come back in a week when our buddy that works for the county brings a couple dump loads of rock out there and dumps it in your driveway, and we'll spread it out for you and take care of it that way. But yeah, they had a play on words. He called a residential driveway, and then they called it something else. If you shared a driveway. If you shared a driveway, they maintained, if you shared it with at least 4 homes, I don't know, around here, I think that's almost like a subdivision. But out there, he said, some of them driveways, he said, heck, they were a mile long. But he said that's, if you had a shared driveway with at least 4 homes on it, the county provided the rock, the whole deal. That was my understanding of what he said. But I just thought it was kind of informational that, we probably weren't spending too many dollars just grading a driveway for them. So, all right.
Thank you, Glenn. If you can come up with anything else on that we should reconsider, we could spend about 5 hours talking on that subject. So we'll let manager look at that. Administrator speak. I don't know if it's upgrade or downgrade. Any other comments? Very good, appreciate that. Not that there's more comments, but that we did have 2 participants that came. Goodness gracious. Okay, the next item is administrative business. Mark called for project letter of support for 155th Street.
The City of Basehor has asked if we would provide a letter of support for a project they want to submit to the Mid-America Regional Council for this round of grant funding. 155th Street is currently a county-maintained road that runs through Basehor. I believe the intent would be that once they make these improvements to where it is has sidewalks and stormwater, that then the city would take over maintenance of that road. So I think it's a good proposal. I think that it's a good idea for the county to support it, just from that aspect of then that maintenance would become a city issue instead of a county issue. So that's why we have a letter for you to consider.
Bob, do you have anything?
Well, I was going to ask, I thought the idea was on a Mark project that that both parties were involved in it now. But you're saying that this is a county road and we're taking care of it now, and then we're going to take the Mark money and use it, or are they going to?
So the City of Basehor, when they make their proposal, they will identify the funding source for the project.
Okay.
We are not committing funding by this letter.
Well, that's what I was.
This is just a letter of support that we support the project. We think it's a good project for the city, and one of the reasons that we do support it is that once they make the improvements to it, that then the maintenance would be a city maintenance item.
I guess you still didn't answer I guess my question I wanted is, maybe you don't know, the funding source. We're not going to fund this, we're just
They have not made a request for county funding. We are not
Okay.
proposing county funding. This is
Okay.
a city-funded project at this time. I can't tell you that they won't come forward and ask the county for funding. I don't have that control or knowledge. But right now, this is not a letter stating we will fund it. This is just a
Okay.
letter that we
Okay.
think it's a good project.
You
Yeah,
got some answers? I don't have any questions.
okay. Motion to approve.
Second, how you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
We have one other item. It's under presentations, but if possible, I would like, which is at the end of the meeting, but if possible, I'd like for you to consider moving it to the under administrative business. And the county attorney wanted to discuss the grand jury process. And so if it's at the board's consideration, I'd like to move that to the beginning since there are
Want
people.
to move that forward?
I would like to request that. The county attorney didn't ask for that. I'm asking.
I don't see any reason. Oh, you just want to keep me here? Well, we can do that.
Now I gotta find it. Okay, sent out a letter somewhere.
Should be the last item, I believe, in your packet.
Well, we'll move that forward, and it is on the back page, I know that, county attorney to discuss the grand jury process. So if he will come forward, and we appreciate that. In the meantime, if you hear paper rattling, I'm moving that letter forward.
Commissioners, appreciate the opportunity to speak before you, as well as the opportunity to, I guess, cut the line. Apologize to anyone I did cut. I prepared a memo
Thank you.
in case you want to peruse. I did invite the court here. I have discussed this with them prior to this discussion. I do have their support in going forward with this process. I don't know how much information you need me to explain about what a grand jury is as opposed to a preliminary hearing process, but our office is looking at implementing a grand jury and hopefully using that for at least 6 months to see how that operation works in handling cases versus just solely using the preliminary hearing process. Now, we do plan to also still do some preliminary hearings, but we want to use the grand jury process similar to what Shawnee County is already doing. It should be, and if you want me to go into detail about it, I can.
I'm more of course, I'm more interested in it saving money. Is this, the letter I read said that it was going to be a cost-saving effect. Is
It
that
should
true?
have a cost-saving effect. So if, and I'm sure most of you have not gone through the criminal process, but if you go through a preliminary hearing, when we send out a warrant, they're arrested, they get a first appearance, get appointed an attorney, and then the case gets held over a preliminary hearing. Sometimes that gets continued multiple times before we actually hold a preliminary hearing. Each time we do that, we have to send out subpoenas. We have to have witnesses come. If it gets continued because of one reason or another, we still have to pay those witnesses. We still have to pay those officers, including overtime. By statute, that's a requirement. Once we go forward, we then also have to pay that. And that's not just one witness, that's multiple witnesses. Everybody's from doctors to law enforcement to the victims and witnesses that saw it. So they also have to leave work, lose work. In a grand jury process, you only need one officer. The other thing is you don't do that in front of the defendant or the defense attorney. So there's cost savings of not having the defendant or defense attorney being utilized until a grand jury actually does a true bill and says there should be an indictment on this case. And so in that, there's a lot of money savings. Usually a preliminary hearing is about, the transcripts could be a couple $100 just to do. They're done for every case for both the prosecution as well as the defense, which comes out of the fund. That also would be a much simplified amount for what we would be using for a court reporter. There's a time savings for that. Prosecution and defense aren't sitting in court for a long period of time. Where it could be for preliminary hearings, it could take all afternoon to do 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh my God. Everyone's phone is going off. Would you please shut it off? That is totally rude. Oh, that's me. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So a preliminary hearing could go 3, 4, 5 in an afternoon. We could probably do upwards to 20 to 30. Prelim could be 4, 5, 6 in the afternoon. We could do upwards of 30 cases in a grand jury in the morning. So we're only planning to do it once a month for 6 months. That's how long they're impaneled. We would be utilizing, obviously, citizens of our district to make the decisions of what goes forward in front of a trial instead of using a judge process that is done now.
Well, I really hated doing this out of order because, believe it or not, you know, 78 pages here. I don't know how many pages here. I read your memo in detail, and I had praise. I wrote down, that's the only word at my maturity that I remembered out of it. It says right here, I wrote it down again, praise Todd. That was good. I like that. Now, the one other thing I could think of, what type of actions does a grand jury? Anything?
Well, what they do, similar to preliminary hearing, they have to find probable cause to go forward with the trial. So they'll do the same thing. They'll issue a true bill saying the state or the evidence meets the burden that it can go through to a trial. So the jury does that in the grand jury process.
Yeah, but I'm talking about rape, murder.
What type of cases will they see? Whatever we choose that.
Oh, okay.
That's our discretion.
That's your discretion.
Right.
Okay. But that was only, I'm sure there was a couple other things on there.
So
Yeah.
we do still plan to utilize the preliminary hearing process. There's benefits to that depending the type of case.
Okay. And the other thing I just remembered, it's amazing how memory is sometimes. I appreciate you coming forth in asking us if we had anything. I know you're one of the 4 or the 5 that don't have to ask us anything. I appreciate that you have taken that into consideration to ask us if we have any thoughts on it. Since the only control we have is budget, we don't really have control of budget. Okay? 5 can do anything you want. But the people out there, they don't know that. So that was very nice of you to ask us. I thought it was a nice idea, good idea. You've answered.
Saving money is a good idea.
That's good. Yeah, I'm trying to save some money to do more roads, and we didn't get that done. We just won't go out and get debt. Can we bring that one to you? No, that's all right. Thank you, Todd. And you have anything?
I know I've sat through enough of these commissioner meetings, and I know some of your frustrations. I've listened to us talk about it in the past few months. There seem to be, it's not seem to be, there is a problem with we're paying jurors to show up, and then they come in, they're sitting in a jury pool, and we never use them because we plea bargain it out 5 minutes before they're supposed to come in. But I understand through the law, that's the defendant, that's his right to a plea bargain up until the trial starts, if he chooses to do it that way. I think as taxpayers, we think of that as it's a waste of money. We're paying these people to come in from their jobs, they had to take off whatever to come in. And I get it, it's something you don't have any control over.
Well,
because they have a right to do that.
Well, we actually have done great strides to not have any of that to happen. We have made great strides not to allow any pleas at the last minute. We have done great strides to eliminate that. The last jury that actually we were impaneled that we had to release was due to the fact that we did not have enough jurors necessary to have strikes, and so. And we also appreciate and understand that we don't like citizens coming in wasting their time and money, especially for the limited amount of money that they get paid to do that process. So we do everything in our power not to have that occur. But we do apologize.
No, it's not, I understand, I've been in law enforcement for 30 years, I get it, it's part of it. My other question, I guess, is where are you going to get the grand jury pool from?
Our county.
The same way you did for a normal trial?
There's no other different process.
And are people that will be selected that going to be free of a criminal background themselves? They're going to decide when you take somebody to trial. To me, they should be of a pretty clean record as well.
They go through the same vetting process that every juror goes through.
I thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me come. And again, I apologize for anyone
If I find my notes, and there's another question, I'll have Mark give you a call. Very good. Okay. So we've moved that up. We'll get rid of that. Good. Next is a consent agenda, which includes minutes of session 1 in February the 27th. The only question that I have, the administrator was going to check with the sheriff about the Easton or
The Pleasant
Pleasant Ridge
School District,
Yes.
School Resource Officer, and I did, and the sheriff has not eliminated that. What's going on is they have a shortage of staffing right now, and the person who is assigned those duties has been out of the office on leave, but once he is cleared for duty, he will be back in the school. So that they have that, and in the meantime, the sheriff has directed the officer who's assigned to that district to stop in on a regular basis just to make sure that the schools don't need anything. And my understanding is that's been occurring too.
Do you have any questions on session 1?
I did not.
Okay. How about session 2? I don't. Next was approval of the sessions for next Tuesday, the 13th. Are you okay with that?
I'm okay with that.
We do have animal control on that. So,
The sheriff will come in and give kind of an update.
will it be
Give
the
you
sheriff or will it be?
The sheriff is who I have asked to come and give a presentation
Okay,
on
that'd be
and
nice.
provide you with the statistics that you've asked for previously.
Maybe we'll check with the county attorney and see it wasn't a bad deal to come over and talk to us.
The sheriff will be here.
I've asked the question throughout the years, and I'll ask it one more time. We just spent $401,402 and no cents. Interesting how that rounded out. For new outdoor warning sirens. We are now an inside community. We don't play out in the yards. Everybody has at least one TV going in the house when the whole family's there. Not a TV, they got a cell phone, iPod, DuPod, D-Pod, FreePod. I think there is possibly a better way, and somebody get that word across to Mark, to our
Emergency Management Director.
Emergency Management Director.
I think one of the challenges, and I know you have brought this up before, I have asked Mr. McGaha about that. One of the challenges, we are required to provide outdoor warning sirens. We've used grant funding and for other reasons we are required to provide them. So that's why we have $401,000 expenditure to upgrade some of those I believe were from the 60s and 70s that we've just replaced. So we should be in pretty good shape there as far as they're the newer style. The program that you mentioned, which is the indoor warning, I think what everybody looks to is that as a citizen, we have TV, we have the radio, we have other ways to be alerted, and they are required also federally to, any alerts that are signaled, to fire off the radio and the TV. If you don't have the radio or TV on, then maybe you won't hear the alert. But the same would be true if we provided every household with a emergency alert radio. They would have to have it on. And I know just me personally, we have one, and when the weather's getting bad, we turn it on to listen, but after the alert goes off for the 27th time, we usually just shut it off because we're tired of listening to the siren in the house. But I can talk to Mr. McGaha about a program where maybe voluntarily, if people would ask, and something we could provide and get you some numbers on that as part of the budget, so that if we wanted to put a program in where people could, on their own volition, come in and ask for it, similar to what some cities do for smoke alarms.
Well, I think it's amazing that, when the media gets on it, it's 24/7. You can't watch as the world turns and Dancing with the Stars anymore, because it's off. And, those are important things anymore. But this is becoming more and more, and in private conversations, you'll hear people say, yeah, we're becoming babied to death. We want this, we want that, we want this, we want that. And to me, people that are outside, you can't get a hint of what that cloud is doing out there, and you see your trees going like this. You've got a heck of a problem. But it's just money, it's no big deal. And we'll cater to the whole world, and we'll thank God for the military. Okay, check register. That was the only thing I had on there. And approve and sign OCBs.
OCB.
Yeah, so if I can have a motion that.
Motion to approve the chairman to sign and date the OCBs.
If you could just approve the consent agenda, if you wouldn't mind.
No, consent
Just approve the
agenda.
consent
Excuse me,
agenda, that would
for the
address
whole-
all
Excuse me,
those.
Bob, I led you straight, for the whole consent agenda, which is the minutes,
Oh.
proof of schedule, my
Yeah.
fault.
Well, I'm used to,
Yeah.
the consent agenda was a separate item, and we always,
Yeah, okay, to do the consent agenda, you agree with that? No?
well, yes and no.
Yes and no, okay. Why don't you do the motion, I'll second, we'll see what, and it may die for, it could die either way.
Okay, I'll make a motion.
I'll second that, go ahead, what's your, are
I'll vote for it,
you gonna vote for it?
yeah, for the consent agenda,
Okay,
yeah,
just the consent agenda. Well, let's back up.
okay,
Everything I just mentioned,
right.
the consent agenda in A through C. There's something on there you want to discuss.
There's something, I think there's something on there, yes, that I want to discuss.
Okay, good.
I think you made a comment that you were not going to approve any legal attorney's fees any longer. And being there's only two of us here, can we actually approve the consent agenda, because that's part of the consent agenda?
I have this as a separate item.
Well, there's one, there was one under FASO, which is the treasurer's attorney.
Was that in the minutes,
Mm-hmm.
one of the minutes? You know where that is right off the top of your head?
think it's page 3 of the
Page
second
3.
set of the check
Page 3 at the
registers.
top, probably. One line. Well, that was a journal. Well, somebody's going to find it and read it.
It's page 3 on the second set of check registers that's stamped for consent agenda on 3/6/28 on the front page.
Oh,
It's for an amount of $1,585.78. The description
talking
is
about on
legal
the-
services for January for Hoffman from Vasso's Law Offices.
And
That is an
how much-
expenditure of the
How
county
much
treasurer.
did you say it was?
$1,585.78.
okay, you're talking about on the OCBs.
No, it's the check registers. There's 2 sets of check registers in there this time.
Okay, that's what the
warrant.
confusion is.
Okay. Is it the second set?
Yes.
Yes.
Second set, on page 3. Legal services. There we go. $1,585.78.
Motion to approve. So, guys, for last second, then, or what, I made the motion.
Oh, okay. We're just approving what is in the, to me, the whole agenda for the consent agenda. And
Okay.
that was in the minutes, and that was the, so I'm going to second it, second the
Okay.
motion. How do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. I have a little dissertation on it.
Yeah,
That's what I was trying to get away from.
yeah.
Okay. Formal board action. Consider a motion to approve exchanging federal funds for state funds in the amount of $396,205.48. Do you have any questions on that?
No, I'm waiting to hear here, David,
Wait to
is
hear.
this on you?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, KDOT has informed the county that they are making federal funds in the amount of $396,205.48 available to Leavenworth County for the federal fiscal year 2018. These funds may be used to develop a federal aid project, or the county may exchange them with KDOT under the Federal Fund Exchange Program, and that's what we are asking for approval on. The rate this year is 75 cents for every $1 of federal funds. So the county would get $297,154.11 in state funds. And what that allows us to do is we can basically choose what projects that money goes to. If we leave it as federal funds, we have to follow KDOT and federal rules, which increases the cost of a project.
that's exactly what I thought it was, but I wanted to make sure that I was understanding it properly, because I think we want to be able to use our money as we
Yeah,
see fit.
that's why we are asking for approval. We feel it's better for us to make the exchange and then we decide
Right,
the project, and we have more control over how the money is used.
spent.
You know, I had a big question mark on that. That's a good deal, isn't it?
Well, I thought it was.
For
If
the
I was
state.
reading it right.
No, for the state. That's a good deal for the state. They get 1.5 mils of every total evaluation in the whole state. So they don't care what happens to evaluations. 1.5 mil has never changed. And you would be surprised, and I haven't looked into it for years, of what they get. Now, we're going to trade, and we're going to lose $99,000 for somebody throwing in a little equation there, and I think it's, no wonder government can't run. We're going to trade $396,000 for $297,000. Isn't that a good deal?
Well, actually, it is.
No, it isn't.
If we take, if
Under
we
your
keep
sti-
it.
Wait a minute,
Well,
wait.
if-
Under your guidelines, it's a good deal. And we can do anything with the money we want.
Right.
But why
So-
isn't it just coming to us to be able to do whatever we want? Because somebody has thrown in an equation there where the state gets more money.
Right. They could not have this program and they could say, here's 400,000, go develop it to our standard, which we know that that's gonna cost us at least 25% more, if not more, to do the project.
Oh, it would be more.
Yeah, by the time you do union labor,
Yeah,
buy,
but
you know, all the
whole
requirements we have to
dissertation-
meet.
See, I don't get up in the morning, believe it or not. I don't get up in the morning and say, well, the rules say this. Let's see what can be done about the rules. Does my staff not think that that is a bad rule?
Well, I think that, I think anybody can look at it and see from the math that the state comes out pretty good on this, but we are restricted because of the federal funding, not only on how we go out for bid on our projects, which increases the cost of the project, but it also impacts the types of projects that we can use this funding on. I think is it an ideal program? No. Is the state required to do it? No. The state wouldn't have to do this. Does the state
Well,
get some payback for doing it? Yes. In this case, they've increased it to where they get almost $100,000. Would I rather have all $396,000? Yes.
Oh, yes.
But the state, it's at
but
the
that's
state's
not gonna happen.
option to offer it, and we have the option to either accept it, take the $297,000 and utilize it on projects that we have identified we want to use it on, going through our bid process, or we can say no, and we want our full $396,000, and then we will have to go through their bid process. And so, money-wise, it does come out in our favor, but for taking the program, is it our preference? No, we wish the federal government would give us the money with no strings attached, but they won't.
Do we never look into why the state gets 100,000 out of 300,000 or 400,000?
That's the state's decision.
Yeah, but,
It used to be 90 cents on the dollar, and they've changed it to
Yeah, but
75
see,
cents
they
because
can
there's some
change that, can't
administrative.
they? We just,
They can.
you just told me they could change it.
The state
Do we
can.
not ever look into that?
Well, the state can change it.
Yeah, I know it.
And
Do we
we-
not look into, come on, state, why'd you do this? You know, why are we being nice to the state if they're not nice to us? That's $100,000. I think that's money.
Oh, it's money, and that's just small potatoes compared to probably what they get for the whole program. But the truth of the matter is why do they do it? Because they can.
They can
We-
do it
we
because
can't-
our legislators aren't controlling what they should be controlling.
That could be.
So that's where I'm going. It would be
Okay.
nice for us to approach our legislatures and say, hey, now, and we can keep it simple, we're getting screwed. Now, they might understand that, we might have to upgrade it and be a little more politically correct, but let's start questioning what governmental entities are doing to us. We worry about a cap, and we're just getting $100,000 taken away from us, and you did it, are you doing a motion?
Yes.
And hopefully staff will go ahead and follow up on it. You know, it's sort of like, give me your road program that you go by.
I'm not,
Ashloff, Schliffloff,
ASHTO.
Ashto.
Ash-
Someday I'm gonna remember that, but I'll be gone out of here and I won't have to remember it, but Ashto. And it's amazing, we're going out there and spending extra money, like on 207th for Ashto, and I appreciated the little thing I got from you. It said it took 2.5 years, but you know, they applied 15 years ago or 16 years ago, who knows how long it was. And it's amazing that what it cost, how many miles was that? Is that a mile?
A little over 2 miles.
A little over 2 miles. So it's $400,000 a mile, and it could have been $300,000 if we went and graded and chip and sealed, but no. And to do that, we could have got extra right-of-way for the future. But they would have had a good road, and for 15 years, I wouldn't hear certain individuals that live out there talking about, where's our road, where's our road? And I wasn't even on the county commission most of that time. So somewhere, for every action, there's a reaction, you know? I used to say, there isn't a soul I can't teach to fly, but that is not true. Totally not true. There are some people you can't teach to fly. And I've been reading on birds in National Geographic. And it's amazing how a bird can go 11,000 miles or 8,000 miles, and he's got little wings. He sleeps part of the time. Anybody know that? And this guy said, and sometimes we as humans sleep part of the time. And I'm finding that to be true. And you did a motion,
I did.
and I did. Did we vote?
No, you didn't second it.
I'll second. How do you
Okay.
vote?
Aye.
Aye. And hopefully we look into that, and somebody that's running for office, and I won't name their names now, will say, you know, that is not the proper thing to do. Yes,
Can I
Glenn?
make a statement about that? The state probably, when this whole thing started, they started switching dollars for dollars to eliminate some of the loopholes the feds were gonna make you go down, dance through the bidding process and that. The state probably looked at it like they were doing you a favor by giving you the money, and it cost you a little bit, but it's money you didn't have. So they
That's
felt
right.
like they were giving you a
That's how I
gift.
look at it. It's money we didn't have.
That's the, I guarantee you go up to Topeka, that's how they will explain that to you. We're doing you people a favor by giving you money you didn't have before. And you
Well,
get to do whatever you want, whatever projects you're gonna take.
Glenn, I'd look at it another direction. They were.
I know, it
they
was
were
our
giving-
money to start with.
They were
'cause
giving
that's how
back
the feds got it.
90%, giving back 90%. They said, man, we got these people, we're giving back 90%. I bet you we can get that lowered.
Yeah.
We'll give them back 60.
But I get it, the feds give us money, well,
They
it
don't
wasn't
give
their
us-
money to start with, it was
Yeah.
our money.
That's true.
Our money comes, we spend tax dollars, that's where they get it from. They're just being nice and letting us have some of it back.
Okay. Consider a motion to approve signing an agreement with KDOT for the preliminary engineering of a HRRR project. Everybody says, oh, okay, HRRR. I know what that is. It's High-Risk Rural Road Project.
Hey,
All those words weren't there many, many years ago, you know that? That's government. Go ahead.
Second request we have this morning is to approve signing an agreement with KDOT for the preliminary engineering, which is the design work of a high-risk rural road project. In 2016, the board approved submitting an application to KDOT for an HRRR program to fund the upgrades of signage along County Route 5 and County Route 10. This will bring the signage into compliance with the MUTCD. Project has been approved by KDOT. The preliminary engineering fee is $15,990.18. Total project cost is estimated to be $115,367. 100% of this project will be reimbursed to the county, so KDOT will pick up the entire, we pay and then we get reimbursed for it. Funding is available in our road and bridge budget for this expense.
Question, Bob?
nope.
You know, I drive County Road 5 and I drive County Road 10. Maybe I've been driving them too long that I just think signs are there. I see speed signs.
This signage will be they call them chevrons. They're basically the arrows, the black, yellow sign with the black arrow on the curves. That's what this
That's the
will be
problem.
addressing.
I've driven the road so long, I know where the curves are. And it just isn't one curve. It's these arrows. Makes it hard for us to mow, doesn't it?
Well, we'll mow around them, correct? Yes.
Yeah, it makes it hard for us to mow. It's sort of like parking on a street. You want to remove snow, you can't remove snow. Because your car's parked there. And now we're going to put signs. And we're going to get it totally funded. That's great. I slept awful good over the weekend.
I was gonna say. I thought maybe you didn't.
Oh, I did. Want to do a motion?
I'll do a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Voting. Aye.
Aye.
I was just gonna say, don't touch.
Yes, I just can't.
I thought you were getting ready to.
I'd like to.
Yeah, I know. But there's
Well, that says we adjourn session 1.
Okay.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn session 1.
Second. How you vote?
Aye.
Aye. Session 2, convene. Want to do a motion on that, or we'll just open it up?
Open it up.
That sounds good. First item, and it does say up the top, thank you very much, public hearing not required. So, come forward.
Good morning, Chairman and Commissioner. This is case number DEV 18003 and 004, preliminary and final plat for gravel road subdivision. The applicants are requesting the approval of a 3-lot subdivision for a parcel of land located on Hollingsworth Road, east of the intersection of Hollingsworth and Tonganoxie Drive. The proposed lots meet the standards set forth in the Leavenworth County zoning and subdivision regulations. The Planning Commission voted 8-0 to recommend approval of case number DEV 18003 and 004, preliminary and final plat for gravel road subdivision, subject to conditions. Public hearing is not required.
Okay. Yes, Bob.
I have a question when you're ready for questions.
Ready? Or you want to say something else before we get into questions?
No, sir. I'll answer any questions you may.
Okay, case number DEV 18-003 to 004, it says consideration of preliminary and final plat for gravel road subdivision. Since when did we start having gravel road subdivisions?
That's just the name of the subdivision.
Oh,
That's how
the
they
name.
name
I
it.
thought, we're having gravel road subdivisions now?
I thought the same thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
I didn't know there was different.
I thought, man, this is,
what they've
this
called
is,
That's what they call it.
I don't think we're going to have very good luck here.
That's amazing. Who would not have thought of that, though? You know, I read through it, and I'm
I read through it several times, and I said, I gotta wait, I can't wait till ask Jeff. Gravel road subdivision. I said, this is a new,
then we'll go
where's
back to-
Joe at? Joe, we're gonna have gravel road subdivisions now.
Well, we may go back to dirt road subdivision, Joe. Everybody will be getting a Model A.
I got one,
It'll go through it.
yeah.
Yeah, the bottom's a kick through it, thank God. Okay, I have several questions here. Mr. McGaha requested a hydrant. And if we go on down the line, District 8 says 2-inch line is present and fire hydrants are not supported. Is he saying not supported because of them voting that way, or that a 2-inch line will not support a fire hydrant?
The only thing they have right now is a 2-inch water line, and it doesn't support installation of fire hydrants. It needs at least 4-inch or 6-inch to actually support a fire hydrant. So they don't have the...
Why are they saying they don't support it? In other words, a 2-inch line
Yeah,
will
there's...
support a fire hydrant.
No, they're saying the 2-inch line will not support a fire hydrant.
You're saying that they lied to me many years ago when they wanted me to expand out on Eisenhower, that the line will not collapse. It will only take what's coming out of that 2-inch line. And is that too much of a convenience for somebody because they're shaving or taking a shower or doing the dishes, that somebody's having a fire, we can't have a fire hydrant out there?
Yeah, I think it's about the pressure that comes out of the line, the 2-inch line, and the pressure is very low, so it doesn't actually support the installation of fire hydrants. That's what they're
It
saying.
would fill the tanker though. But they have ways of doing it out of the pond,
Correct,
out of the creek, out of the river.
yes.
So, okay, last, it's always 8-0, 1 absent. Is it the same person that's absent, or is that a formula that you get the day off, you have 9 people, you get the day off today, and I get it next week, or what is it?
That's something I would like to discuss with you later. It's about one of the planning commission members.
Okay, if it's the same person, it's time to get a new person. That's simple. So you want to improve gravel roads?
I want to approve gravel roads on subdivisions.
Public hearing not required. Would you like to do a motion that we approve?
Well, I'll make a motion that we approve DEV-18-003-004.
I'll second that. Any more discussion?
Oh,
How do you vote?
aye.
Aye.
Crystal has a blue coat on today.
Good to know, Commissioner Holland. Good to know. Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. This is case number DEV-18-005006. This is a request for a preliminary and final plat for a 7-lot subdivision out on K92 and Bowserman Road. 4 of the lots are going to front off of K92. I have reached out to KDOT. They have indicated that entrances will not be an issue. They will need to be shared entrances, but they won't have any problems with getting entrances to those. The remaining lots are off of Bowserman Road, which is of course a local gravel road, and we shouldn't have any issues with entrances out there either. These lots meet all of the requirements for the Leavenworth County zoning and subdivision regulations for lot frontage, lot size, width to depth. We don't have any exceptions that need to be made. We did obviously reach out to Rural Water District 12, who has indicated that they do have services for water, but they will not allow fire hydrants to be installed. So that is just for your understanding. Staff is supportive of the overall subdivision. The Planning Commission voted 8-0 with 1 member absent to recommend approval of this subject to conditions. This is a consent item. There is no public hearing required. The applicant is here. We'll answer any questions you may have, as will we.
I'd like to make a comment on the Water District 12. What they use instead of fire hydrants out there, they use what they call cleanouts. And they can be used as a fire hydrant, but they're not per se a fire hydrant.
Right.
They're just a clean out.
Probably good for the lines, isn't it?
Right, it is. It cleans the
clean
lines
up.
out. That's what it's for.
Yeah, and they don't have to
Yeah.
send staff out.
Right.
So go ahead, Sue. I didn't mean to
Yeah,
interrupt you, but
no,
if I don't catch
that's
those
all.
thoughts, they fade away. I don't
Yeah.
remember.
You were on that board,
Yep.
so I just wanted to say that it's not that they don't have the water, but they just don't have a actual fire hydrant.
Correct, yeah.
I think a fire hydrant is way more expensive, and we need it for flushing out the lines and stuff like that.
Does an 8 have that? Does 8 have that, do you know? Clean out lines?
Water District 8?
Well, 8 says they won't consider it at all, but at least 12 has a clean out.
Correct. I think they can still put the cleanouts in there. It's just a way to collect the water so they can use that water to suppress the fire. But the fire hydrants, they cannot install it unless they have a 6-inch or a 4-inch line is what I'm
But
understanding.
Does Water District 8 not have the same clean out lines?
They should have that.
Yeah. Why not pass that on to them to pass on to,
Because that's what we,
yeah. Pass it on, say, hey, how about letting the fire departments serve as your clean out? Because, we have pretty consistent
Yes,
fires.
we have that
Just a
stipulation.
thought process. I did have some other questions. I know an Ed Teal. They used to live out there, nice gentleman.
Ed's not with us.
I know it.
Okay.
And I miss Ed.
I just wanted to let you know that
No, I
before you.
forget, but I like to miss them.
Okay.
And it said on, somewhere in here, David E. Thiel. Is that the same Teal?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
It's just misspelled.
Did I
Yes.
swap
And
it,
somewhere in here I read, somebody had written down, need to check the spelling of, it's no big deal. I don't think David,
We'll correct it. Sure.
I don't think he feels offended if he does. He's over 21, so he can handle that. We're going to shared excesses. Now we're sort of pushing sharing access.
That is a requirement from the state on K-92.
Well, I know that. But we're looking at okaying that, and shared accesses do create situations that can lead to problems. So I don't know if that's a good idea or not.
I think right now the state allows it, but we can discuss that with them to see if there is any other way. Maybe we can have a separation, a little bit 5 feet separation between the two driveways. That's a possibility. We can talk to them about it.
You know, you and I share a road. Now, it needs to be graded because we don't have anything but dirt left.
Okay.
And I was going to get a hold of somebody, unless you object, and we'll see what's going to cost to put gravel on and grade it down. But you don't want to do that. Now, how do you get that done? You go to court.
Yeah, there'll be a private shared agreement.
So, just a thought process. Don't know if it's a good idea or a bad idea, but it doesn't vibrate in my mind as a good idea to force some people. It's nice, but we sure don't get along in a lot of other things, so I don't know if we're going to totally get along. I hate to see people in court just for the heck of it. I did highlight DEV 1805/006. Is that because it's a preliminary and one is a final plat?
Correct.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, there'll be 2 case numbers. One will be the preliminary and one will be the final.
Did I figure that out on my own?
Yes, I was proud of you.
Don't get proud of me, Bob. And again, it's 8-0 with one
Yes.
abstention. If you want to do a motion,
I'll do a motion.
I'll do a second. How do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. Oops.
Is that a motion to approve?
Yes.
I'm assuming.
That was a motion to approve.
What do we need Doug here for?
Say again?
What do we need Doug here for?
Well, there's going to be some things we'll need Doug in.
One of these days, there's going to be
Sometimes for
something.
you, sometimes for me.
Okay.
Commissioners, this is case number DEV-17-142. This is the text amendment that we talked about last week. The Planning and Zoning Department was approached by a county resident a few months ago regarding a potential special use permit out of their home for remodeling and light construction. At the time, that's a use that was only allowed in B1 through I3. It was not allowed in any way out in the residential zoning districts. So in order for this gentleman to be able to apply to operate his business out of his home, we needed to make an adjustment to our zoning and subdivision regulations, the table of uses, which is what you have before you. What we are proposing is that this be an allowed use with a special use permit. So of course, each one would be evaluated individually by the Planning Commission and subsequently by the Board of County Commissioners for approval, denial. The Planning Commission voted 8-0 to recommend approval of this. This is a public hearing. There is a resolution. I'll answer any questions you may have.
Before we ask for the public, do you have any thoughts or ideas, or when you want to wait for public?
Yeah,
we'll
I'd
go from there.
Let's have our,
Has he been operating out of his home?
He has been.
Isn't it amazing?
Yes.
God bless this world. How many people violate the rules because there's just so many rules? We can't keep up with the rules. It's my house, I'll be able to do what I want out of my house, but, oh, there's a rule. And that's why I said last week, make sure this doesn't include more rules. So, this is a public hearing, and is there anybody here who wants to talk in favor of it? Anybody want to talk against it? I guess I should start with against, always, but nobody? Very good. I'll close the public hearing requirement. Did that help you?
that helped me.
Okay. So you want to,
A motion to What's the number we need? 7?
To approve the case first and then motion to approve the resolution. So
2008.
first we have to approve the
Yeah,
case,
approve
special
this,
use permit.
Then we're going to do a motion to,
Motion to approve the
DEV
DEV,
17142.
yeah, DEV 142.
I'll second that. How do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. Now we need,
Motion to approve resolution 2018-7.
second. How do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Commissioners, this is case number DEV 17143, a special use permit for MW Towers LLC. The applicant has submitted a proposal for a special use permit for a communication tower, a 195-foot self-support tower, and associated equipment, cabinets, and shelters. This case was formerly DEV 17052 and was approved by the Board of County Commissioners on July 27, 2017. The applicant is merely requesting to change the height and type of tower from a 150-foot monopole to a 195-foot self-support tower. The Planning Commission voted 8-0 to recommend approval of case number DEV 17143 for a special use permit for a communication tower subject to conditions. Public hearing is required, and there is a resolution available, and the applicant is present to answer any questions you may have, as are we.
Jeff, is this a mandated tower?
This tower has been already approved by the commission last year.
Okay.
Not last year, I think, last year.
Yeah.
And they're just increasing the height of the tower. That's all they're doing.
Going from 150 to...
To 195 feet, yes.
And is this a company?
Yeah, it's MW Towers.
LLC. They lost the financing of where they didn't have to pay state taxes. Because Congress, the state just took that away.
Yeah.
That's good. Small business shouldn't have the ability to get funds. Okay, public hearing required. We'll go with that. Anybody here to talk against the tower? Anybody talk in favor? We'll close the public hearing. You have any questions, Bob?
He wants to talk in favor of it.
I'm here to answer questions, but I don't have anything to say if you don't have any questions.
He didn't want to talk.
Good.
I make a motion. Or no, are you calling for a motion?
Yes, please.
I make a motion to approve the
I'll read that.
Case number
case
DEV.
number DEV-17-143.
Well, I'll second that. I did have one question.
Okay,
Nowhere in here we're assuming any liability, right?
right.
No.
It's all the picture. Tower's gonna fall on.
Yeah, they meet all the regulations, yes.
Okay, gonna fall on a barn. If it falls, it won't fall on anybody else's property.
They're covered.
Nobody's house.
That's the main thing, is it falls on this property that
Yep.
put the tower up.
And there is a setback. It's like 20 feet from the fall zone, so
Yeah,
they meet all those requirements.
And I guess it's the same planning board member gets another day off. How do you vote?
aye.
Aye.
It's 8, resolution 2018-8.
I'll second it.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, last item, other than commissioner comments, decided to move commissioner comments to the end, so anybody who thinks he's going to be bored, they can leave. All department heads can listen on that.
There's one more case, Commissioner.
Yeah, I know that.
He said there's just one more.
Thought you were doing me a favor.
He thought he was sneaking out on one.
Okay, this is DEV-18-009.
Correcto. Brew to Brew Charity Run.
Is this DEV 17 or 18?
18.
Okay, because on the agenda it says 17. Just need to make sure.
This is case DEV 18-009, temporary special use permit for Brew to Brew relay. The applicant is requesting a temporary special use permit for a relay run on county roads. The applicant is also requesting a waiver of the $100 application fee. This is the 23rd year of this annual running event between Lawrence and Kansas City. The race is held to benefit the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation and will be held Sunday, April 8th, 2018. There are no changes from last year's race. The race will begin at 6 a.m. in Kansas City at the Roastery and will end in Lawrence at 6 p.m. The portion of the route in Leavenworth County will be on K32 and on some county roads south of K32. The applicant expects approximately 400 runners for the event. Teams participate in the relay, and only one runner participates at a time. Each team has a support vehicle that drives from station to station to pick up and drop off runners. Each vehicle must display a Brew to Brew banner in the window. The Planning and Zoning Department recommends approval of case number DEV 18-009, subject to conditions. Public hearing is required, and the applicant is present to answer any questions you may have, as are we.
Anybody to speak against it? Anybody to speak in favor of it? This is your motion.
I just got a question. It's not in favor or against it. How's it gonna impact traffic on those roads?
I think that's
That's
taken
where
care
we're-
of by
that's
the
where we're-
sheriff.
We're going to come to that.
We're gonna close the roads for people to live along if they can't drive on them, or are we taking up a
The
lane? or-
roads aren't closed. The runners actually aren't on the road. They're mostly on the levee. They are on K32, but they're on the shoulder, which is very wide. And the 400, the runners there's only about 20 on the road at a time, because they send them out in waves every 10 minutes. So it's just like any other traffic. It's Sunday morning, and we've never had any delays or closed anything.
I worry about the safety of the people running, just like I do the bike riders that want to ride on the county roads out here and have their group events and fundraise. I get it. It's all about fundraising, and I'm for that. But at times I look at it as a safety issue. You're running on these windy, hilly county roads, and you're saying they stay on the shoulders. I'm hoping that's where they do stay, because the bicycle riders, they don't stay on the shoulder. They get 5, 6 across, take up a whole lane, and they're impeding the flow of traffic, in my opinion. And I think there's still a law in the books about impeding the flow of traffic.
They're still entitled to a full lane.
I get that, they're entitled to a lot of things, but the people that drive those roads better not hit one of them because they were wearing the wrong color or couldn't see them, because it becomes an issue when they end up in court. We know we don't like going to court.
Well, we can always put a good runner in the head of the group, and he can run backwards.
They're running on the left side of the road, so, well, again, they're running against traffic. So the runners can see, we hire police, and we have, I don't know if you know or familiar with the Ararat Shrine, but they help us patrol. We hire the motorcycle corps, and we are all off-duty police officers or the retired police. So, and they're manning all the railroad intersections and along the road, and also at the aid stations. Most of they are on K32, 92, but then they get off there, they're on the, they go through Linwood, so I don't really know what that road is called, but across the river. They cross the Stranger Creek into Linwood, so, and they're also on the levees, so they're really not on the road very much. They're on Golden, they pass through Loring and Loring.
My only questions were, are we supplying anything? And that was for David.
We
David's
hire
got-
Leavenworth County Police, we pay them.
They hire the sheriff.
They hire the sheriff, very good, okay. And you're paying us how much a mile for our roads?
We actually make a $5,000 contribution to the Leavenworth County Parks and Rec Department.
Thank you.
And in addition, we donate $40,000 to $80,000 to Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, depending on how many runners we have that year.
They do actually.
I'm just playing there. The only
I
thing
know.
I don't like is your title. I really don't want to see a bunch of people out there that have been drinking before they start running.
Well, actually,
Brew to brew.
the
Coffee.
brew at the beginning is coffee. We started the roastery.
Okay, it's coffee brew, not
Coffee brew.
an alcoholic.
There's a lot of
Uh,
breakfast at the rest stations along the way.
Let's close the public hearing portion.
Ready for a resolution,
Yep.
make
They're-
a motion to.
They're also asking for the waiver of the $100 fee, the application fee.
Waiver.
We do that every year, so it's,
We do that every year.
You've done that for 23 years, so we thought we'd ask.
They're giving you $5,000 in Parks and Rec.
I
Kind of
can't-
like the state and the fed deal.
But that opens the door. Everybody wants a waiver.
Yeah.
It's already past that. Everybody does ask for a
Yeah, you gotta
waiver.
have a waiver.
But none of them give $5,000.
There you go.
Yeah, but where did you say that $5,000 went?
Parks
It
and Rec.
goes to the Leavenworth County Parks and Rec.
We have a Parks and Rec?
We have a parks fund.
fine.
Okay.
We do have that,
They're asking for a waiver.
yes. I approve the, I make a motion, we approve the waiver.
That could die.
It could die.
Jeez. What world needs a waiver? Oh,
I
second.
guess the waiver started because we're a nonprofit. I don't know when that started, but we've been doing it for 23 years, so.
It started somewhere around 00080, somewhere in that neighborhood. Everybody went on a waiver. They want to pay taxes, no waiver. Okay.
Well, waiving the fee is not a deal breaker for us.
Oh, gosh, you opened the door. I like door openers.
I'm thinking in 23 years, $100 a year, that's $2,300 you
Well, she won't have to come before me. So if she dislikes me, she does.
As long as you don't waive it, you'll hold on to $5,000.
Well, we could do that.
I wouldn't approve another waiver personally. I think that's bad. If we're going to set the rule, have the rule. Then you have to have somebody come in and say, can I have a waiver? May I?
Let me get my wallet out and I'll pay the waiver.
Maybe they can
Okay.
pay the application fee and donate $4,900 to the park fund.
There you go. No waiver.
Okay,
I'm not going to second that, Bob, but that is for lack of second.
okay.
Now, we need a motion on the approving overall the run.
I make a
Temporary
motion that
special
we
use.
approve the Brew to Brew charity run.
I'll second that. How do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. Now we have to do do we have to do
No resolution.
There's no resolution.
no
No
resolution?
resolution.
Okay. Now we get on to, last item is commissioner comments. Well, we do have a good old Staton, Edmonds, Palmer, a bill for $5,865.81.
That's 2 days of my testimony. You made the comment that Larry Marlboro had to spend a few hours over there. I spent 2 days.
Well, that was good.
I was thinking of you when I was spending 2 days. I thought, and Louis was complaining about Larry being over here a few hours.
That's real emotional.
Oh, man, I was,
Okay.
it states in there what it's for.
So are you going to do a motion on that?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it, under discussion.
Okay.
How do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. There were some other things that I had accumulated here,
Okay.
mainly one, I'll remove so much of this other, because I'd gotten into, 207th Street, had some questions on,
I got my first comment from 207th Street out at the Genesis. The guy complimented me for how great 207th Street is now.
well, I got my first comment 15 years ago.
Well, I have never gotten a comment on 207th Street until just the other day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I get it all the time from friends that live out
Yeah.
there. It's a nice road, just took too long to do it.
Yep, didn't it?
And there were
Didn't
too
need to
many.
do it ash shoots.
Yeah.
It didn't need that done.
No, it didn't. But that is a problem we'll have, and they mean well. There was something here that you had spoken to, is that a subject about moving departments? Is that something that you prefer to?
Yeah, that's the letter about moving the departments.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's already been addressed.
Okay, if you will contact me later, I'll put that up there, and I can shoot the bull. Okay, my last thing here is that I have, and then Bob will want to make a comment, I know. Last week, and I had him add up the, where you came up with your figure on lawyer fees and stuff like that. I came up with $92,451.90, not questioning that, but you said $164,000. I'm not questioning that. I feel we were running along fairly smooth with what we were doing. But I want to make a statement. We wouldn't have any of these law fees if you and Dennis had not put a 5-year contract for human resource, several 3-year contracts, several 2-year contracts. So I hold that more responsibly to you and Dennis. That's an opinion, and we're all entitled to an opinion. It just, I thought that subject was basically dead. We're letting the courts, but.
I am letting the courts take care of it.
Yeah.
I didn't make any statement like
Well,
that.
you made
last week.
the statement that we spent that much on lawyers.
Right.
Well,
We have.
Well, that could be
That's
true,
just a
but we wouldn't have had to spend that on lawyers.
Well, we wouldn't have had to spend that on lawyers if we hadn't terminated the lawyers.
Yep, well, that's all I'll say.
Okay.
And I did find Todd's letter here,
Well, do you have any questions on there?
but that doesn't have anything to do with what I brought up. I feel it's yours and Dennis' responsibility for causing us money. And other than that, do you have anything else you want to say?
I don't believe it was our
Okay.
problem. I believe it was that we had a problem. We had illegal things going on in this courthouse, which is, they're still going on, and we're being investigated, and that's all I care to say about that issue.
That is true. So we won't talk about 179th Street. Okay.
Well, what do you want to talk about 179th Street?
What procedure did we go by? What policy did we go by? Was it the PRP? Was it?
Well, let's do away with 179th Street.
That would have been good, but I think we're pretty far down the line with 179th Street.
Is it done?
Yes, David?
Commissioner, I know that they are relocating the utilities along that road. So it is proceeding.
So is it done?
No.
So why don't you have staff for the next meeting, and we may terminate that. You know, sometimes, that's why I like the policy. That's what we're here for. We've gotten it running fairly good for policy. I've tried to get it expanded. Now, Joe wants to go to 2 days. Pretty soon, somebody wanted 5 days. They want to double the salary. I don't mind doubling the salary because I guarantee you it takes a lot of time to go through all this.
Don't tell me.
And going
I know.
And going to meetings. So, and now we're going to go to 5. Somebody's going to take a pay cut. No, there ain't going to be anybody take a pay cut. Doesn't deserve a pay cut. I want somebody who doesn't have a job or does have a job, and the boss will let them off for 1 day. He didn't like going up to the State House, and I won't mention any names, where your company will allow you to be off every day they're in session. It would be nice to be able to have a job, come to the county commission, do a job here, because the people voted you in, and, if you would do that on 179th Street, I saw you turn the mic like you had one to have a comment.
No, I turned the mic because I was talking. I didn't want to interrupt you.
Oh, okay.
I will have that on. I'll have staff
Yeah.
bring that up for your discussion. We have the PRP program on next week. The discussion you wanted to bring up about whether dead-end roads should be part of that program. So we have that policy coming forward
Okay.
anyway, so it'd be a good time to.
So we'll just add that into that. Is that all
I'll have
right
that
with
on
you?
there, but I will make sure it's on
Very
and
good.
that the
Thank
staff's
you.
prepared to discuss it.
Anything else from staff?
Not at this time.
Well, I don't see anything else here.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Aye.
Aye.